sodium periodate will cleave dihydrol. So dihydrol diol. So it generates aldehyde. Even in the presence of KMnO4, what happens? KMnO4 is a strong oxidizing agent. So the oxidation will not stop at aldehyde stage. It will completely oxidize aldehyde to carboxylic acid. Okay. Even without osmium tetroxide, also KMnO4 will do the same thing. KMnO4 first it will do diol formation, then further oxidation of diol to carboxylic acid. It is possible, but maybe the yield may be low. So that is why we are using osmium tetroxide followed by KMnO4. It may be an effective way. Okay. In the below example, we can use the same thing, right? KMnO4 is used for diol formation, and the diol is cleaved by sodium periodate. Diol is cleaved by sodium periodate. Since it is a secondary, this carbon is bonded to two other carbons, it will be oxidized up to a carbonyl. This will be oxidized up to a carbonyl, like ketone. Okay, but whereas this fellow, it is a primary alcohol, right? What we will get, it is a primary alcohol. So we can oxidize this to aldehyde first. Because of KMnO4, it will be further oxidized to carboxylic acid. Okay, because KMnO4 is there, this aldehyde stage will not stop. So the oxidation further continues up to carboxylic acid. But when we do the same reaction with osmium tetroxide and sodium periodate, what happens? Osmium tetroxide will generate the diol, and sodium periodate will cleave the diol. It is not the oxidation with the sodium periodate, right? It is just cleavage of the diol. And here the oxidizing agent, osmium tetroxide, it is only used for diol formation. Okay, so here what we will get, an aldehyde here, a ketone here. Of course, we will get either aldehyde or ketone. Okay, so in presence of KMnO4 being strong oxidizing agent, the oxidation will not stop at aldehyde stage itself. It will further undergo oxidation up to carboxylic acid. Okay, so this is the difference between KMnO4 condition and sodium periodate condition. Everyone must keep your video off. Okay, don't turn on your video. And at the same time, if I forget to mute you, please keep your audio also in mute. I still feel somebody has turned on their audio. I will give you one more example. Both alpha hydroxy compounds, we can use sodium periodate to break this or to cleave 1,2 diol, because it is a syn diol. It is a syn or cis diol. We can use sodium periodate. So sodium periodate can cleave the carbon-carbon bond between these two diols. So a bond here will be cleaving. So what we will get an aldehyde here, an aldehyde here, right? So this we can rewrite. See, look at the ring size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is just a 5-membered ring, and then both sides we have aldehydes, where both aldehydes are cis, right? When we look at the structure of the molecule. This aldehyde and this aldehyde both are in same plane, and we can say these are below the plane. These two are below the plane. So the resulting structure will be this one. Right, I'm changing this. Sodium periodate can be used to cleave cis or syn 1 comma diols. But what if the diol is a trans or anti? If the diol is anti or trans, then it is not possible for sodium periodate to cleave the 1 comma 2 diols. Almost no reaction here. Okay. Even sometimes we may think that some trans molecules may undergo carbon-carbon rotation, carbon-carbon single bond rotation to generate at least some amount of cis, say at least 0.1%. So if you think there may be an equilibrium between trans and cis compound due to CC bond rotation, yeah, that time it may be possible for sodium periodate to cleave the 1,2 diol. But in case of rigid trans diol, in case of rigid molecules, there will be no rotation of carbon-carbon bond. So that means the cis and the trans cannot be in a equilibrium. Okay. So this molecule, it is a bicyclic system and it is a structurally rigid molecule. The carbon-carbon bond will not undergo any CC bond rotations. Though it is single bond, it will not undergo any CC bond rotation. That means it is structurally rigid. It is fixed. Okay. So in this case, sodium periodate will not cleave the 1 comma 2 anti-diols or trans diols. I will take this. I'll also give the explanation for this. Formation of cyclic periodate ester. Formation of cyclic periodate ester, which I have discussed during the mechanism of the reaction. So that is most important for cleavage of the 1,2 diol. The cyclic periodate ester formation is only possible in the case of cis diol, but in the case of anti diol, it will be 5-membered ring, right? So the 5-membered ring cannot have a trans bond. Okay, a trans trans cannot exist in the 5-membered ring, in the ring itself, not on the ring, right? So because of that, 5-membered cyclic para-iodate ester is not possible in the case of trans diols. So So without cyclic para-iodate ester intermediate, we cannot cleave the 1,2 diol. So that is why structurally rigid trans diols cannot be cleaved using sodium para-iodate. For cleaving trans diols, we will use lead tetraestrate. Okay, so that I'll discuss. Next, I'll give you one more strong oxidizing agent, ruthenium tetroxide. I'll just give one example for this. Okay, how do we prepare ruthenium tetroxide? Ruthenium tetroxide can be prepared by oxidizing ruthenium dioxide with para-iodate, sodium para-iodate. Okay, so we can oxidize ruthenium dioxide with para-iodate. So we will get ruthenium tetroxide, and the para-iodate will be reduced to IO3 minus. Then how ruthenium tetroxide is used for the oxidation of organic compounds. Ruthenium tetroxide like osmium tetroxide. Okay, so just compare that, but it is little bit stronger than osmium tetroxide. So ruthenium tetroxide works in the same fashion as osmium tetroxide is, but it is little bit stronger oxidizing agent. Because of sodium para-iodate, we are using H2O acetone. Okay, then so what happens? Ruthenium tetroxide will generate 1,2 diol, and sodium para-iodate will cleave that 1,2 diol to aldehyde and ketone. But as I said, ruthenium tetroxide is even stronger acid than stronger oxidizing agent than sorry, osmium tetroxide. The aldehyde stage will not stop. Okay, oxidation at the aldehyde stage will not stop, so it will continue up to carboxylic acid. Of course, it will undergo decarboxylation, right? Right. So ruthenium tetroxide is just like osmium tetroxide, but it is little stronger than osmium tetroxide. I think ruthenium tetroxide will be reduced to ruthenium dioxide in the reaction. So we'll use sodium para-iodate also, so that will regenerate the ruthenium tetroxide. So whatever I have said earlier, I think I am not correct previously, right? So sodium para-iodate is used to regenerate the ruthenium dioxide from ruthenium tetroxide from ruthenium dioxide. So in this case, it is a co-oxidant. Sodium para-iodate is a co-oxidant. So we don't need to learn more examples because ruthenium tetroxide reactivity is almost similar to osmium tetroxide. So I think we will write it co-oxidant. Right. Next, we will see lead tetraacetate. Lead tetraacetate. In short, we can say it is LTA. So, what is the structure of lead tetraacetate? Lead, it will be binded to 4 OAC molecules, and there will be an interaction with this carbonyl oxygen and lead also. Okay, there will be an interaction between the lead and carbonyl oxygen. So this one is like this, this one is like this, this one is like this. So lead will be interacting with carbonyl oxygen also. This is the lead tetraacetate. When we look at this, we have 4 OAC molecules which are organic moiety, right? So because of that, right, lead is in +4 oxidation state. Because of the more organic content in the reagent, this reagent is soluble in organic solvents. Soluble in organic solvents. But in the case of sodium periodate, it is purely an inorganic compound, so it must be dissolved in water. Okay, but lead tetraacetate, it will dissolve in organic solvents. Therefore, water is not required. If the compound is not moisture sensitive, we will go for sodium periodate oxidation. Why? Because sodium periodate is a cheap reagent. But if the substrate, if the reagent starting material is moisture sensitive, we cannot use sodium periodate. So what we will do, we will use lead tetraacetate, which is soluble in organic solvents. So absolutely, we don't need any aqueous environment for the reaction. So in that case, yeah, the substrate, the reactant can be oxidized with lead tetraacetate in absolutely organic environment. Okay. How we will prepare lead tetraacetate? Lead tetraacetate will be prepared from lead oxide. When we add acetic acid to lead oxide, what we will get, when we add lead oxide to acetic acid, what we will get is lead tetraacetate. Lead tetraacetate. And it is a solid molecule, a solid compound. So we can handle it very easily also. Okay. Lead tetraestate is used in a similar fashion like the sodium periodate, but the only difference is sodium periodate will dissolve in water because it is an inorganic compound. So we must use aqueous environment in the reaction. But in case of lead tetraestate will dissolve in water. So we don't need to use water, but the reaction is same. Okay, reaction is same. It will undergo cleavage of 1,2 diol. It will cleave 1,2 diol. You write the products of this reaction. The reactivity of lead tetraestate LTA is exactly same as sodium periodate. So after the class, please rejoin again immediately. We will have 2 or 3 minutes break, then join again. So I'm changing this. Please take a snapshot. I'm changing this. So we will look at the mechanism of lead tetraestate oxidation. The mechanism is also similar to sodium periodate oxidations, okay, but with a little difference. Sodium periodate is having iodine oxygen double bond. So when alcohol attacks on iodine, the iodine oxygen double bond used to break. But here, lead tetraestate is having good leaving groups, so they will leave. OAC minus will be leaving. When this alcohol attacks on the lead, then one more OAC will be leaving. So we can say 2 OAC minus. At the same time, we can also abstract these two protons, right? So when oxygen donates electrons, it becomes positive charge. So we can also pick up those two protons. Then it becomes so the oxidation is not yet started. It generates a cyclic lead lead uh, state intermediate. Okay, so it is a cyclic ester like intermediate, similar to sodium periodate mechanism. Then this will undergo a redox reaction. So what happens? This bond will be polarized towards carbon oxygen. So it generates a carbon oxygen double bond. Then this carbon carbon bond between the 1,2 diol will break down. So the bonding electrons will be polarized towards another carbon oxygen bond. So we will also generate a carbon oxygen double bond here. Now the lead oxygen bonding electrons will be polarized towards lead. Here lead is donating electrons, here lead is getting taking electrons. Okay, so it will the net charge is 0, but what is happening is it is undergoing reduction from lead 4 to lead 2. So here the product is plus lead diacetate, lead diacetate. So lead is in +2 oxidation state. Okay. So this is a 1,2 diol. We use lead tetraestate for the cleavage of 1,2 diols. So the bond between this carbon and this carbon, so it will be breaking, and this C single bond oxygen now will become C double bond O. This side also we will have C double bond O. Okay, so the product will be a carbon.
అవినే పెట్టుకోవచ్చు కదా లగేజ్ వేసేటప్పుడు ప్రాక్టికల్స్ ఉంటే మళ్ళీ ఆడే మళ్ళీ అది దిగదంటాను
Yeah, the bond between these two diols, the carbons, they will break. That will break. So we will get a ketone here. We will get a ketone this side also. Okay. You write the product. What I will tell you is, when we have a dicarboxylic acid, and when we use LTA, when we treat this dicarboxylic acid with LTA, what happens? It will undergo double decarboxylation. That means this carboxylic acid will undergo carbon dioxide elimination. This carboxylic acid also will undergo carbon dioxide evolution. So what it will generate? It will generate an alkene. Nana midi Yeah, unmute అవుతుంది చూడండి నాన్న. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, but please don't unmute unnecessarily. Right. So what LTA will do for a dicarboxylic acid? LTA will do double decarboxylation. That means loss of CO2 here, loss of CO2 here. That generates a double bond. Okay, but this is 1,2 dicarboxylic acid. 1,2 dicarboxylic acid. So when 1,2 dicarboxylic is treated with LTA, it will undergo double decarboxylation. I'll give you some more examples. When we use LTA, of course it is 1,2,3 tricarboxylic acid. So which dicarboxylic acid will be eliminating? Either these two or these two, because it should be 1,2. So it must be either these two or these two. We can easily predict product when these type of molecules are given. When these two carboxylic acids are undergoing decarboxylation, it generates a double bond here. But see this double bond, it is at the bridge head. So according to Brett's rule, a double bond at a bridge head, it is not possible. It is very, very unstable. Okay. So we can eliminate this product. So what is the product? Decarboxylation of these two carboxylic acids. So we will get an alkene here. Okay. So please read Brett's rule. What is Brett's rule? Double bond at bridge head is not possible. Bridge head or bridged carbon. We can simply say bridged carbon is not possible. The simple reason is, you see these carbons, they are not planar, but when we have double bond, it should be a planar system, right? When we have a double bond, it should be a planar system, but the bridged system cannot change its structure when we generate a double bond. So bridged system, it is always will be in this shape, that means in a non-planar form. Okay, even if you want to generate a double bond also, then also it will be non-planar. Okay, so because a double bond with non-planar structure is unlikely, so we cannot have a double bond at the bridge head. So that is what is the breadth rule. I'll give the mechanism for decarboxylation. When we use lead tetraacetate, what happens, one of the OH from carboxylic acid will attack on lead tetraacetate. It will attack on lead tetraacetate. So it generates lead OAC, OAC, OAC. So this OH will attack on lead tetraacetate. So one of the OAC will be leaving, and we will also remove this proton, right? So plus, sorry. So this OH will attack on lead tetraacetate. One of the OAC will be leaving. So what we will have, plus OAC minus, plus we can also we will also abstract this proton. So plus, okay. So acetic acid will be leaving. Then what happens? Yeah, here there is no cyclic ester formation, okay. Right. Then this OAC minus will pick up this proton. OAC minus will pick up this proton. In that case, the bonding electrons, the oxygen hydrogen bonding electrons will be